Hey, my name is Josiah France, and the novel I chose is The Blind Side. The novel I chose to write about is the book called The Blind Side. I chose this book because it shows a lot about people from different races in some way and how colliding cultures. In this case, reason happens to be football, which is something I can relate to. The story talks about a young man named Michael Orr who grows up in poverty and goes through so much at a young age, but is taken in by a wealthy family that takes care of him when it comes to school also. That is a huge factor in this book, in this book, because as he plays football, he ends up playing football for the school and is offered many scholarships to play college football, which is an amazing thing. He was very talented, very big guy who knew nothing about football at first, but ends up being amazing. The main theme of the novel is judging people based on their outward appearance. He was judged a lot based on his appearance of being black, of course, being African American back in the time. When Michael Orr first joined the Briarcrest Christian School, there were many teachers who felt that he was unreachable just because he was large and black. They judged him on his ability before they given him assessment test. It took one teacher to realize that he could be taught and take the test, but it had to be verbally with full attention on him. Some people didn't believe he could be trusted even in the same house as the family due because they had a daughter. They had a daughter named Collins. Just because of his appearance, of course. He was questioned by the NCAA. Michael and others couldn't questioned by the NCAA. Michael couldn't believe that a rich white family would take an interest in Michael if he hadn't proved to be a talented football prospect. So they thought it was all rigged. Everything was just they did it for a reason, basically. So yeah, the book is flooded with just many characters making snap judgments about him, and then end up later being wrong because once they finally get to know him and meet him, he's just a nice guy. Like he ends up making friends and more. He has a great relationship with the family actually. Michael Orr overcame the obstacles of having a father in prison. And a drug addicted mother. He was in and out of foster home. He always used to run away. That was like a big factor when he was young. He ran away from almost every foster home because he always used to take care of his mother at a young age. He was always addicted to different drugs or whatnot. So yeah, Michael Orr, he was a great kid. He was a great guy. He just didn't do nothing wrong. Never did any crime or anything. He was just a kid at the wrong place at the wrong time, pretty much, if you could say. Michael also overcame academic obstacles in his life, struggling because at the time he didn't really go to school, or he didn't know much, he didn't talk much at all. So that was a main factor of him just pretty much being in a new school, especially a Christian school where it was mainly white, or it was mostly white. Made him really uncomfortable. He was scared. They looked at him differently. He didn't have that much at first. He wore messed up clothes. He wore clothes in a garbage bag. So yeah, that was what he went through, which was hard times. Although he did overcome the academic struggle, working day in and day out, he worked hard to complete the work expected of him, which allowed him to play college football, which was awesome because he couldn't go to college if he didn't graduate, which he ended up doing. Michael Orr's story demonstrates pretty much the American dream. He went from rags to riches, and the success of his life was a direct result of his own determination to succeed. So he was very hardworking. He made sure he was a very hardworking one. Once he had to set his mind, set his mind to something, he did it, and he really was an interesting guy to like trust or whatnot. So further on, as I get to the questions at the end, the 5 questions, have I Have I grown as a learner throughout the course of this semester? Yes, of course I have. I've grown as a learner pretty much because I've learned more as like earlier. Before I could like if I got a book or anything or like had a task to read a novel, I would just read, of course, just read it from the beginning to the end, of course. Now, like ever since I've done multicultural lit this semester, I've